So good morning. It's Rudy Samsel, co-founder of Guys with Rides. As you hear that plane, we are at the Flying W Airport in Medford, New Jersey. That's Burlington County. Beautiful morning, a little bit crisp fall, late October morning. And as you can see, the turnout is just incredible. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the upper left corner, you'll see 4 arrows in a silver circle. You can turn that so you can see what's going on all around. I encourage you to do that. And they encourage people to dress up in costumes. I, of course, have my big hat on. So let's take a walk around and see what we've got here. These SN95 Mustangs are growing on me. They're a great bargain. And there's a 63 split window. There's a reason he backed that in. He wanted to show the split window. This one got my attention. He came in mid-90s Cadillac, Fleetwood Brougham, last of the big traditional sedans, rear-wheel drive, and he's got it slammed. He's got a full air ride system in this. Let's go around the back here and see exactly. Yeah, there's the tank. So there's the tank. Nice clean setup, actually. So very cool. And there's all the controllers in there. So I'm sure he makes this bounce in different settings. Nice Oldsmobile Starfire. If you're not familiar with these cars, this was the top of the line in the early 60s for Oldsmobile. And nice color combination of white with the red interior. Nice 40 Willys. So not necessarily rat rod, but a nice street rod. And you got to love the Hillborn injection stacks on that. My favorite color in a Corvette is that right there. Beautiful 1989 C4. I happen to know this plane is stored here currently, and it is a cool bit of kit. I know my cars better than I know my planes, so if you know what that is, let me know. And then I wouldn't call this a rat rod, but a nicely patinaed 57 Chevy. And this is a Survivor. It's got its original Blue Flame 6. I believe that was still a Blue Flame 6, the 235. Correct me if I'm wrong. But with one nice upgrade. Dual master cylinder. Very nice. So, can't be too safe. But look at the patina on this. Love it. So my hunch is, based on the exterior, they redid the interior, which, you can get. Oh, that's what I love. Keep the paint patinaed. It looks like it's been clear coated, but make the interior nice again. No harm, no foul. If you know me, you know I love Corvairs, and this is a very rare bit of kit, a 61 Corvair Lakewood. Which is the station wagon model they only made for, I believe, 3 years, 61 to 63. Just never took off. Not only is this 64 Corvette blue with a red interior, they're huge Bills fans. So they're parked next to my Boxster. There she is. So right next to me is a nice 67 Camaro, nice resto-mod, late model mower, aftermarket air, Willwood brakes. Yeah, so he's running an LS3 with a Tremec 6-speed. Very nice. All done in his home garage. Now, if you saw my latest Topless Thursday convertible feature, this is a yellow one, very rare. 2002. So if you like yellow, this was your color. These are actually coming down in price. I notice a lot of people have over 150,000 miles on them, and they're well under 10,000. And it wasn't much of the V8 was the same as the Lincoln LS. Interesting mix of old and new Corvettes, as you would typically find. And everything from stock to bling. Nice Triumph TR6, highly modified. This is highly modified. A nice, I believe 70 GTO. Yep, with Ram Air. Yeah, Ram Air IV to be exact. Blue on blue. 4-speed car. Very nice. Of course, the cadre of, well, you gotta appreciate a C8 being displayed like my Boxster. So he puts the top, and that way he can show the engine. My take on that, as much as I love convertibles, and I said this when they came out, if you watch my video from whenever these came out that summer at Corvettes at Carlisle, I had one of the first videos on them. And I said then I would rather have the Targa because you can see the engine the whole time. The top hides it when it's down. And you don't have as much woo. So it just makes more sense to me for that generation to get that. Obi-Wan Kenobi with his Corvette. I believe that's called Sunfire Yellow. Pretty color on a C2 Corvettes. So this is one of the earliest cars I featured on Guys with Rides. So John's car is just a stunner. Go to my YouTube channel and you'll see the video. Nice 56 Chevy. I knew right away when you look from the styling in the front. The styling between so 55 to 57 are the Tri-5 Chevys, and the styling is so distinct year to year. Of course, 57's iconic, and a lot of the custom guys like the 55. Between the A pillar, that's the windshield pillar, and the C pillar there, the back of the back of the window, that back window pillar. You can see the difference in styling of the trim, the bumpers. It's just amazing to me back then. They no sooner launched a car and they were working on the tooling for the following year. You know, economically unviable now, but we gotta love the decorations on this. AMC Pacer. And I know this is a wagon. Fun fact about these, along with the Chevy Monzas, and this was originally designed, it was going to use GM's Wankel motor. And at the last minute, GM bailed out on that Wankel motor. There's plenty of history out there to see. The AMC engineers had to figure out how to get their 258 inline six in here. And I know it's a Pacer wagon because that vent window is the distinction. I don't see any early. I'm shocked there isn't an early Thunderbird of any type here. That's a Mercury Caliente. Or mid 60s with a that's a 64. And I know that because it says 260 on the engine. So that was the only year, 64 was the only year of the Falcon and the Mercury Comet with this body style, the square body style, and the 260. They went to the 289 the next year. Now I'm going to walk along Fostertown Road here. Beautiful Dodge Little Red Express, either 77, 78. What year?
79.
79, okay. So 78 and 79. Dodge figured out a loophole in the emissions regs, and that's what the genesis of these trucks were. Very nice shape. And then one of my favorite cars of all time. First generation Oldsmobile Toronado. This was when GM was really on their game. Now, I'm going to get a great shot of this. This is known as the E-body, but a flat floor. Beautiful exterior. Pretty color. Of course, so this is GM's first production front-wheel drive car. And eventually this platform made it underneath to the Cadillac Eldorado and later the Buick Riviera. And if you've ever heard the term slammed, this is a great example of it. So what he did is...
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Very nice. Nicely done.
And not get any lower than that.
No. So he cuts the bed out to make room for everything and then slams it when he gets there. So very, very cool. This looks like an old Nissan truck. Yeah. Nicely modified. Very cool. With a turbocharger on it.
How are we going asphalt?
This is interesting. You don't see these very often. A 69 Ford Talladega. Okay, so what was that? Well, in order to, about the Chryslers and the big wings, Ford's answer was to make this sloping front end to get better aerodynamics to complement the extreme fastback on this. So that is a rare bit of kit. I'm not up on my Fords well enough to know if this was a homologation special or what, but very cool nonetheless. Beautiful Fiero. This is a GT, yeah, 86. So no trunk space there. This is a V6 automatic, and that was the extent of the trunk space on these. In 1984, it's 20 years old. Those came out, and with a base price of, I think, if memory serves me right, $79.99. And I was trying to figure out how to buy one, and I just couldn't swing it. So you've probably heard of the late 50s or mid 50s Ford Sunliner, and that featured this plexiglass canopy. Well, Mercury also offered one, and this was known as the Sun Valley. It's a beautiful example. Love the color combination. Even a Viper GTS. You'll hear me say this on just about every video I do. This is considered an extended suburb of Philadelphia, Burlington County, New Jersey. And so without traffic, we're about 40 minutes from the Philadelphia International Airport. That would be about, if I point that way, it's that general vicinity. And then we're about 90 minutes from here. Going that way is Newark Airport. And so my point here is the car culture here between New York and Philly is arguably right on par with anything you'd see out in California. What I do have to admit about this show is, because it's an AACA show, you're not seeing any the typical exotics you'd see at a Cars and Coffee here locally. Seeing a lot of 70s muscle, of course, nice GTO convertible next to me here, a couple of them, Challenger RT. Interestingly enough, I've walked around this twice. No first generation Thunderbirds, no baby birds, and no square birds or big birds for that matter. So I almost to the point that I wonder is if there's a Thunderbird show somewhere. Chrysler Cordoba. This is going to be in 80 or 81. So this is, of course, the Dodge was the Murata. And this is when Iacocca took it over. Yeah, this is an 81 Cordoba LS. I just love this body style. And, even though it had the hardtop body style, the rear windows didn't go down as a cost saver. These are just a very cool body style that you don't see much anymore. And forward control Econoline. And I'll give you one reason why they stopped making those, and it has to do with crash protection or lack thereof. And of course, here's an International Scout. I'm getting PTSD. This is the last year, and the reason I know that, the final year featured this grille with square headlights. That is either a 304, possibly a 345, one of the toughest engines you'll ever find. These basically were built for heavy duty trucks, and they put them in their commercial cars. So,
yeah, they did that today.
So,
You had a winner here.
This has got a nicely restored interior, but this is basically what I learned to drive on and this is one of those. If I drove it, this is actually a Traveler. So the Scout 2 was a shorter version, but the Traveler had an extended wheelbase and quite a bit of room back there. In fact, there were certain versions that would fit a third row back here. A little bit ahead of its time. I really like this Triumph. A year newer than ours, nicely detailed. Pretty color combination. That's what they're supposed to look like. So if you want to see what's involved with the restoration on one of these, you can. I'm way behind on providing an update. Here's a Corvair Lakewood. Very cool. It's got a under dash 8-track player. Very nice shape. I love the Nader was wrong sign. How are you today? Beautiful. And there's the engine. Kind of like a square back of Volkswagen. So that's the 2025 Any Which Way You Can show. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, at a minimum, press the like button. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe. As I post this video, I'm 15 people short of the 5,000 mark, which puts me in a class of only 7% of YouTube channels out there reach that level. So appreciate you subscribing. It costs you nothing, and it helps me grow the channel and get the word out about Guys with Rides. So thank you for watching. Stay safe, get out there and drive, and we'll see you soon.